And welcome to Musician Spotlight. It's my pleasure to welcome my guest tonight, Lotus.
Have you seen the trees, the sparkling gold, green leaves turn to gold in the summer moonlight, and in the sun of the fall turning cold, the leaves are red and orange, sparkling gold in the leaves on the trees, sparkling gold in the food we eat, sparkling gold in the rays of the sun, whose light gives life to everyone. Have you seen the crops, the sparkling gold, the apples and the wheat, the barley and the corn, as the sun fades to a moon's full glow, it shines on the crops, sparkling gold in the leaves on the trees, sparkling gold in the food we eat, sparkling gold in the rays of the sun, whose light gives life to everyone. Have you seen the trees, the sparkling gold, green leaves turn to gold in the summer moonlight, and in the sun of the fall turning cold, the leaves are red and orange, sparkling gold in the leaves on the trees, sparkling gold in the food we eat, sparkling gold in the rays of the sun, whose light gives life to everyone. Sparkling gold in the leaves on the trees, sparkling gold in the food we eat, sparkling gold in the rays of the sun, whose light gives life to everyone.
That was Sparkling Gold, a song that Dana wrote, and we're going to do another song that I wrote about trees as well.
The trees do not care or question my place. The trees do not care in the forest. The trees do not care or question my place. The trees do not care in the forest. The trees do not care or question my place. The trees do not care in the forest. The trees do not care or question my place. Touching branches, feeding roots, leaves soft and bend, pattering sound of raindrops. Leaves soft and bend, the sand is the world. Leaves soft and bend, pattering sound of raindrops. Leaves soft and bend, the sand is the world. Seeing and hearing and breathing and touching, drinking from the forest floor. Seeing and hearing and breathing and touching the reassuring smell of earth. Seeing and hearing and breathing and touching, drinking from the forest floor. Seeing and hearing and breathing and touching the reassuring smell of earth. Leaves soft and bent, pattering sound of raindrops. Leaves soft and bent, the stand is the world. Leaves soft and bent, pattering sound of raindrops. Leaves soft and bent, the stand is the world.
Silent rhythms of the forest flow,
pattering sound of raindrops.
Silent rhythms of the forest flow,
the stand
we are the
is
same
the
life.
world.
Silent rhythms of the
Soft
forest
and
flow,
bend,
we are
pattering
not
sound of
separate
raindrops.
things. Silent rhythms of the
Soft
forest
and bend,
flow, we are the same life. Silent rhythms of the forest flow, we are not separate things. Silent rhythms of the forest flow, we are the same life. Silent rhythms of the forest flow, we are not separate things. Silent rhythms of the forest flow, we are the same life. Silent rhythms of the forest flow, we are not separate things.
Separate
Silent rhythms of the
things.
forest flow, we are the same life. Silent rhythms of the forest flow, we are not separate things. Silent rhythms of the forest flow, we are the same life. We are the same life.
It's my pleasure to welcome my guest to Musician Spotlight tonight, Lotus. Nice to have you back to Missoula.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks.
Nice to be back.
Lotus is Dana Chapman, Kelly Teague Miller, and Sherry Lutch.
Sherry Ritch.
Yeah, is that right? Got them all right. I'm interested as to how you guys came together to do, not only to do music together, but to do a cappella music. You all met at the University of Idaho, is that right? Or?
Right, through different circumstances, Dana and Sherry. Actually, we were talking about this on the ride up.
This very day.
This very day, and I was trying to relate Dana and Sherry's portion of it and doing a fairly good job. They had seen each other in town through different experiences, and then they were in jazz choir together and started singing together separately because of that. And then I just met Dana by chance through a friend. I think the a cappella thing started was because none of us played other instruments very
We
well.
wanted to play music.
We were never planning on performing ever. You know, we were just doing it
No.
for our own fun. And it
Definitely
just kinda
not.
blossomed.
Yeah.
Well, it's great. You've taken that idea to a great extent already. Have had a lot of chances to perform around the Northwest, and
Yeah, we've been
have
really
a-
lucky.
yeah, you have a recording out, a CD out now, and we'll mention that and perhaps some of your other endeavors that you've been doing as far as performing, maybe after a moment or two. Tell me how you decide what to do, what to sing. Do you each bring something in and say, hey, let's do this?
It's evolved. It has evolved. I think towards the beginning, I was learning so much as far as different women musicians that I hadn't heard of, that both Dana and Sherry were bringing in, that I was learning of, and I was bringing in some other influences. And then we would choose other people's music to do. Now, as we are beginning to write our own material, at first it was one person bringing in a song nearly completed, and then we would polish it up.
And
And
arrange
now
it,
we are
yeah.
starting to write things together, which is just really exciting.
Right. So it's rare anymore that we bring someone else's piece in. To
Yeah.
say, listen to this, we could do this. Now we're bringing bits and pieces of our own and saying, how can we
and
put
fitting
this together?
things together. And it's really wonderful to see how our different styles are combining and creating something completely different. It's just really exciting.
Well, one thing I was interested in, it was neat to hear you the last time I heard you sing, because you change off and sing the higher parts of the lower parts and the lead all the time. Do you all actually have ranges so that you can sing all three parts, or do you break it up, or how do you decide?
It switches it around. Occasionally, there's a couple songs where I've sung low, but for the most part, Dana's the real
I'm the one that moves the most.
range-meister.
I wouldn't say that my range is so huge, but I'm comfortable moving
She can
within where my range is. and
adjust her sound.
So
so
we're
it
probably in
sounds
my
lower
register.
or
Yeah,
higher.
Maybe so.
I tend to sing the lower parts, and I'm real comfortable in the low registers, and I have a harder
Yes.
time singing high. But Kelly's a high singer mostly, but we all manage, you know.
Yeah, and as far as switching solos, it was never even an issue. It just happened. There's never been one person that has been in the
No,
forefront in
yeah,
our group.
never.
And it wasn't
There's
even
no
a
lead.
conscious choice. It's just never even
Yeah.
been
No.
conceivable that we would be
And
anything
again,
other than
when
a
we came
unit.
together, we weren't thinking, oh, let's form a band and let's perform. We were making music, and I could sing that part. Oh, I really like that line. Can I do that part?
Right.
What happened in your performing in the very early days, or even just as a group when you're working in your living room, that made you decide that, hey, we've got something that we can make a jump here?
Actually, I think it was more support from other people.
Yes.
We started practicing on campus, and we would practice outside when the days got nicer, and people would stop and they'd listen to us, and we had friends that encouraged us to try out for Moscow's Renaissance Fair, and they pretty much had anybody who wanted to get up there, the fifth grade Suzuki strings and everything. Anybody who wanted to could get up there, and we thought, well, sure, why not? So we tried out, and they said, you need 20 minutes, and we had 6 songs, and that was all we had, and we performed, and it was the community support that they gave us a standing ovation, and they wanted an encore, and we didn't even have an encore at that point. And that was when people started coming to us and saying, we'd love for you to sing, and we'd like to
Do you have
pay
any
to do
recordings?
this, and yeah, I'd
We've
like to buy
had
something.
so much support. It's just been incredible. We would not be here if it weren't for all the people around us who've contributed with just support, not even just emotional support. It's really been.
Even your local press and your press materials that I got a hold of, they love you in Moscow. You know?
Yeah. Moscow Sweethearts.
Yeah.
That's us.
Yeah.
There's a lot of new music going on in Moscow, which is
A
a pretty
lot.
exciting thing too.
Mhm.
A lot of different bands, and we're just one genre, but so that's pretty fun. I think that's also
Yeah.
why Moscow is so happy about its
They're very
musicians.
supportive of the music that is going on there, so it's pretty exciting.
Tell me a little bit about your individual influences, musically and even otherwise. I don't like to close it off to say, well, just musicians that have made a difference in your lives. I mean,
Right.
obviously, lots of other things have contributed as well. But who influences you individually to get to where you are today?
The Beatles were my first love, and then the Dead for a long time. And then I got into women's music, the Roaches and Joni and Nancy Griffith and things like that. But my first true love was show tunes, musicals,
Right.
and I was really interested in that. And I was a
Yeah.
percussionist for 6 years and always in choirs and things like that, but never as a soloist, just kind of doing the harmony thing. But that helps me to harmonize because now I always sing an alto part, and I naturally go to that harmony.
Right.
So it's really helped out a lot.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I grew up in a really small reservation town, and I didn't even know folk existed until I was a sophomore in high school. No clue. And then I discovered Joni Mitchell. And she's just, when I think of one person, that is it. But I have to admit, before Joni, there was Barry. And Barry Metal.
She's being
Barry, I'm being honest
No,
here. I
we
cannot believe
listened to
this.
that-
No one has
that
asked this
CD
question
all
in
the
this
way
way.
home.
I've managed
That
to
was great.
avoid this. But yes, I loved Barry Manilow.
Yeah.
There was a fellow who worked at Taco John's who looked like Barry Manilow, and so he
Barry's
was-
got a bad rap lately.
Yeah.
Well,
He's
kinda almost
he's
all
actually
along,
in some
you know?
music dictionaries. He created the step up when he goes and changes the whole key of a song where he modulates. He created
That
that,
instant.
and he's in dictionaries as being the creator. So he's not total fluff.
I grew up in the theater. Actually, I'm really thinking about my family today for some reason, but I think performing and watching people perform and watching characters on stage, musicals, old movies, that element, that versatility of the voice. A lot of jazz musicians. My mother played a lot of Bobby Short and Mabel Mercer, and I listened to that. But then Joni Mitchell, Judy Collins, I sang along with her a lot as a kid too.
Did you sing as young children?
Yes, a lot.
Yeah.
I did just
With the
with
radio.
records,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but not in choirs.
How long have you been together as a trio?
Since '91.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
met February
little over 2
'91. Our
years now.
first performance was May in '91.
Right, that's right.
But then we took the summer off. I went to Alaska, and you went back
We
east.
took a lot
and-
of time off. It took us
That first
quite a
year.
while before we really started. We're not serious, give me a break, but a little more serious. More serious. I don't like that word, but
Well, I think that you've got a great future ahead of you. Your blend is already really nice, and for
thanks.
only having been singing together for a couple of years, it's great. I mean, it's nice to think about if you can continue to sing together for a long time. I've sung with my family, my brothers, and
For a
especially for a
long
long time,
time,
and I know that
right.
there's that thing, that connection that happens when you know somebody so well.
Yeah.
You can move to different places, and they're
my
right
sister
there.
and I are like that. She plays piano, and we get together, and it's just like, it's there. And we're starting that. We're definitely starting
We were
that.
talking about that yesterday also, though we were kind of trying to figure out how long we'd be together, and we were visualizing being together for a very, very, very long time. So I like that visualization.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
That's really great. Well, what's on the agenda for the future? You're performing a lot now, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're all around.
We're out quite a bit. We're in Oregon most of September,
Mhm.
southern Idaho. Be back in Montana in December on the 9th. We'll be in Missoula.
Mhm.
But we're working on our next album, actually.
Yeah, great. Well, you've got a lot of new material. I hope we get to hear some of that tonight, and some from
much.
your CD released in 1991, The Dance Goes
Right.
On. And it's a pleasure to have you here. I'd like to hear you sing some more.
All right.
Great.
My guests tonight on the program are Lotus from Moscow, Idaho.
Ba-da-dee-do.
I like to ride with the wind in my hair. I'm on my bike and I don't really care what anybody else thinks. I should do what she plays. I think that later tonight
She's gonna check out the dancing. See,
I got some friends and they're really great. I'm gonna meet them at 7:45, but I am taking my time. Should we go home and run now? You know that that's okay.
'cause we're usually
baby, Sherry. Won't you come out tonight? Won't you come out tonight? Won't you come out? When I was young, I did what Mama said, and I loved her. I just went straight to bed. She would come turn out the light. She'd say, be true to yourself.
Don't go following others. Wahoo!
Now here I am in the prime of my life. I got a groove and I'm claiming the right. And if I'm dancing alone, you know it isn't to come. And if I need to explain,
she'll say,
I'm just dancing, okay, okay. She's just Sherry, baby. Sherry, baby, Sherry. Won't you please dance with me? Won't you please dance with me? Won't you please? Ba-da-doo, 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 I had a man rolling into my life. He cut the strings, now I'm free as a kite. Although my skies have been blue, the sun is shining on me. And when I find love so true,
they will float out over the sea.
And he'll say, Sherry, baby, Sherry, baby, Sherry. Won't you please ride with me? Won't you please ride with me? Won't you please ride with me?
Oh, Sherry, Sherry, baby, I got my bike
ride
and
with
we
me?
can ride. Oh,
Won't you
Sherry,
come ride
Sherry,
with
baby,
me?
I
Won't
got
you
my life
come ride
and
with
we
me?
can
Won't
live
you
together
come ride with
here
me?
forever.
Won't you come ride with me? Won't you come ride with me? Oh, Sherry, come ride with me. Oh, Sherry, come ride with me.
All right, Sherry. We give credit to Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons and David Wilcox. Little samplings.
The next song we're going to do, we are from the, we all at different times have been students at the University of Idaho. And with universities come student newspapers, and with student newspapers comes the yearly to-do in the opinion column over the swimsuit issue in Sports Illustrated. And this is a song I wrote about it, or it was spurred from that. It's called Beauty and the Beast.
There she is in a fashion magazine. See her there, dancing on your TV screen. Beauty queen in her new designer jeans. Listen, girl, you should all look just like me. You should all look just like me. What does it take in the world today? Beauty, beauty. Look about what price to pay. It's your duty, purging, fasting, pray for your children till it seems the only way. Beauty and the Beast. Teenage girl doesn't eat for days at a time. All her friends wishing they could be the same size. Beautiful is what they think when she walks by. Can't they see she's starved within an inch of her life? What does it take in the world today? Beauty, but what price to pay? It's sure do. Purging, fasting, pray for your children till it seems it's the only way. Beauty and the Beast. Our society's calling, on our knees we are crawling. Can't you see? Where does beauty begin? It's our spirits within. In this nation we are 1,000 strong. Our hearts in denial put our bodies on trial, judging, always finding fault. If we control our bodies, we can control our lives. No, be good mothers, good daughters, good wives. Centuries of being told just how to be men and women, slaves to society, standing here. I am you and you are me. Break the chains, set our starving bodies free. Set the bodies free. I am, you are, set us free. Today, liquid but what price to pay? Sure do. Purging, fasting, pray for your children till it seems it's the only way. Beauty, beauty, what does it take in the world today? Beauty and the Beast. Liquid but what price to pay? Sure do. Purging, fasting, pray. Children, till it seems it's the only way. Beauty and the Beast. What does it take in the world today?
Okay.
All right.
And the next one is also by Kelly Teague Millum, and this is on our album, and it was inspired by the war, or the anniversary of the war.
Anniversary.
And it's called Song for the Earth's Children.
War.
The ground is a mixture of snow and rain. Black boots, black lampposts, soft gray sky. I pass brick buildings with small window panes. Flashes of color as people walk by. And it feels like winter as I walk through the yard. Though it's been years since our winters were hard. The earth has grown warm as a heart. But can this be love when our sky falls apart? We're all here together, the earth is our home. A mother to cherish, not something we own. And though we pollute her, she's still wild and free. The flatlands, the forests, the mountains, the seas. And is globally conscious, a turn of the phrase. Recycling is trendy, as is the new age. If life is a book we create day by day, well, it seems we are writing ourselves off the page. I see children running through puddles. They're lost in some marvelous game. A child delights in all that she touches. We'd all feel much better if we did the same. It seems it's been years since the hot desert storm. The war isn't front page news anymore. But what of the children and what of their home? Can this be victory if we stand alone? We cling to our differences like precious stones. It's easy to hate what we don't really know. We seem to forget we're a part of the land. Divided we falter, together we stand. As I'm walking along, the wind touches my face. She whispers a song for the whole human race. The message is simple like sweet ocean spray. If you will but follow, your heart knows the way. I see children running through puddles. They're lost in some marvelous game.
A child delights in all that he touches. We'd all feel much better if we did the same. A child delights in all that she touches. If we'd honor children, just think what we'd gain.
This is Michael Marsalic. It's been my pleasure to have Lotus on the program tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you for
Thank
having us.
you.
This was great. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you too.
And thank
Hey.
you.
And thanks to you.
We'd like to hear one more.
Okay. We'll finish up with a recent piece that I wrote and we arranged together called There Is a Place.
Ba-da-da-da-dom, dom, dom, dom. Ba-da-da-da-dom, dom, dom, dom.
There is a place inside. There is a place where there is no fear. There is a place inside where there is no shame. And I can go to my star anytime I like. Oh, and I can go to my star in my darkest night. Oh, 'cause when I feel alone and no love is coming through, and no one can see me, not even you. There is a place, oh, there is, when I am falling, when I am scared through, when I am frightened by the light that's flying by. I just go to my star. She's shining in my eyes, and I will ride her around the world and back again until this body dies and beyond. From the green to the blue, to the yellow and red, to the purple crown taking me home. I will ride her around the world and back again until this body dies and there is a place inside. There is a place where there is no fear. There is a place inside where there is no shame. There is a place for me, for we. And did you see? For we are one. Oh.
This is Michael Marsalic. Good evening and welcome to Musician Spotlight. Tonight in the program, it's my pleasure to welcome Ritch Doyle.
Feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that kept so many warm. And I've heard it in the cellist land and on the stranger sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And never stops at all, and never stops at all.
It's Michael Marsalic, and it's my pleasure to welcome my friend Ritch Doyle to tonight's Musician Spotlight. Great to see you again. And I'll even get to do a couple of tunes with you later on, huh?
Yeah, that'll be sweet.
Yeah, it's always nice doing music with you and hearing you do your thing. So, Richie, tell me the story of how you got into doing this kind of unique style of music that you do. You've put a lot of music to, a lot of poems to music, and have written a lot of music as well. And how did that come about? I mean, how did you get into being a songwriter? I don't think I've ever asked you that.
I think it was the 60s that did it to me. Growing up in the 60s, I was lucky enough to be, I was born in 61, and I think that had the start of an influence. There was a lot of good music back then, and I'm glad they start playing it these days. But since then, I've been influenced by music from all over the world, and I like to think that might add to my unique style. I try and a lot of times when I come up with a song, I hope it's a surprise, and that the music and the style will be something that comes from out of the blue and not something that I can intellectually come up with. And so I find it worthwhile to immerse myself in as much different music as possible, and then I have a more colorful palette to work with as an artist. There's more colors to paint with.
Yeah.
And so there's no particular influence. It's like I like to think I'm swimming in an ocean of music, timeless as well as contemporary.
It's a wonderful analogy. So, Richie, how did the influence of all of these poets come about? The song you just did, the words of Emily Dickinson, and I know you are also a big fan of Rumi as well, as am I, and maybe you can talk a little bit about the poets and how how they've influenced not only your music, but your life.
I'm a big fan of poetry. Some poetry I don't like at all. Some poetry I just love. And the poetry that I love, I tend to memorize it because then it's like eating it and gobbling it down, and then you can remember it and eat it again and again. And I ended up putting some of them to music. I find it hard to write words, so I do a lot of snooping around, and I found that Emily Dickinson has some poetry that I think lends itself well to be sung. Some poetry I think should not be sung, it should be spoken. But I think there's some poetry that's just waiting to be sung. I think it actually complements the poetry. Structured end-rhyme poems are easier to put to music than free verse, although I will be singing a free verse poem coming up here, the shaman poem.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of experience acting, and I found that extremely useful in writing songs, because before I put words to music, I speak them dramatically as the character would reading these lines, and I listen in our speech for the music, because when we talk, we are actually singing all the time. The Irish are very, very sing-songy in the way they talk, but that looking at our words ourselves dramatically, how we speak dramatically, is where I tend to find the music when I create a song.
I detected a little bit of an Irish brogue start to come out there a little bit.
Yeah, that's been happening all my life.
That's great. Well, one of the other things that I think those who have had the opportunity to hear you sing and perform are aware of is that you like to do a lot of music as well about the natural world and about animals and plants and minerals and things such as that, and certainly an important part of your life too. Maybe you could talk a little bit about that. That importance in your life as well.
I think the songs that I sing are tend to be political, and my definition of political is something that seeks to influence our values. Politics is the process of how we influence values, and I have everything is political in my opinion. I think my songs, some of them may tend to be political, but that's not what you were talking about.
Kind of. I mean, that wanting to influence and change and do something for the world through your music, though, ties right into that. I mean, that, in some ways, you've told me before that's one of the reasons that you do music, to share some of these ideas and maybe hopefully help to influence some people's thinking and maybe influence some values. Is that correct?
It's true. I used to be the type that would stand on the corner and be a missionary, not quite that extreme. And then I found out that there's a better way. You can sing songs, and so I'm trying it that way.
Right.
I am hoping to quit singing alone and hopefully get an ensemble of fellows to sing with that just use rhythm instruments for instruments, something like Sweet Honey in the Rock.
All right.
I miss harmony, so I'm really glad that you're here tonight to sing some harmony. I think a lot of the songs that I come up with, I hear harmony when I create them, and it's sad that I have to keep singing alone.
It's a real difference, isn't it, to sing? There's a whole different dynamic I find singing solo, like even just singing a cappella solo, and singing in any kind of an ensemble, duo stuff, trio, even up to the bigger choir settings. It changes the dynamic immensely. A lot of fun. I've had a chance to do a lot of different kinds of singing. You ever sung any barbershop, Richie?
Yeah, in third grade, I sang in a barbershop quartet, Bill Grogan's Goat, in a talent show.
Right.
Do they still have those in grade school?
I don't know. I did a lot of talent shows when I was in grade school, too. started out like 4th grade, you know, playing instruments that I really couldn't play and things like that, but it was a lot of fun. So, well, I hope you get a chance to do some more ensemble singing. Are you going to try to put together a group? Is that the plan?
Yes.
What kind of music are you going to want to do with?
Original music from Montana.
Great.
Made in Montana music.
Great. Do you want to say anything more about Rumi?
Oh, Rumi. No, just enjoy his words like a cup of good spring water tonight.
Great. Will you play some more music?
Can't wait.
I can tell.
This is another poem by Emily Dickinson. It's untitled. I'm nobody. Who are you? Are you nobody too? Then that's a pair of us. Don't tell, they'd banish us. You know how dreary to be somebody, how public, like a frog, to tell your name the live long June to some admiring bog. I'm nobody. Who are you? Are you nobody too? In America, they say approximately 90% of the families are dysfunctional. And it goes on and on and on and on and on and on, like a vicious cycle. So anyway, here's some words of advice from Philip Larkin, a poet from England. They screw you up, your mom and dad. They may not mean to, but they do. They fill you with the faults they had and add some extra just for you. But they were screwed up in their turn by fools in old-style hats and coats who half the time were soppy stern and half at one another's throats. Oh man, hands on misery to man. It deepens like a coastal shelf. Get out as early as you can and don't have any kids yourself. Okay, here's another song. It was a poem by Theodore Redke, who was a poet from the Northwest who influenced Richard Hugo very much. This is called My Papa's Waltz. The whiskey on your breath could make a small boy dizzy, but I hung on like death. Such waltzing was not easy. We waltzed until the pans slid from the kitchen shelf. My mother's countenance
could not unfrown itself. The hand that held my wrist was battered on one knuckle, and every step you missed, my right ear scraped a buckle. You beat time on my head with a palm caked hard by dirt, then waltzed me off to bed, still clinging to your shirt.
Now I'd like to sing some songs with Michael, sing in harmony and playing some percussion with some of those interesting percussion instruments. This is a song I wrote a couple years ago, perhaps was a reaction to my early experiences in a lot of organized youth sports with adult supervision.
Daddy, I just want to play. You know it's so nice out today. Listen, all I want to say is we both need more time to play. We both need more time to play. Well, son, I guess it's time you know what every American should know. There's more to life than fun and play, as you will surely see someday. You see, sports prepares us for life. We must learn to win and fight, because the road to the boardroom, my son, leads through the locker room. The road leads through the locker room. But Daddy, I need time to play. You know it's so nice out today. This is what I'd better say. We both need to play today. We both need to play today. And I don't want to learn to fight. To me it doesn't feel right. Fighting isn't any fun. I'd rather play beneath the sun. I'd rather play beneath the sun. Well, son, I guess it's time you know what every American should know. There's more to life than fun and play, as you will surely see someday. You see, sports prepares us for life. We must learn to win and fight, because the road to the boardroom, my son, leads through the locker room. The road leads through the locker room. But Daddy, I just want to play. You know it's so nice out today.
This is a poem by Jalaluddin Rumi, who lived in the 12th century in Turkey, a mystic poet. You know, in the morning, especially in the summertime, if you get up around 6 in the morning and you go outside, and there's always usually a breeze blowing, and it's full of wonderful smells, because all night long the air sits still pretty much, and in the morning the sun comes up and the air starts to move, and all these smells that have been stewing all night in the forest or in the meadow start to move around, and in the morning there's the breeze is usually very interesting to smell. And Rumi Interestingly, he's written a couple poems about the breeze at dawn, and this is one of them.
The breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep. You must ask for what you really want. Don't go back to sleep. People are going back and forth across the door sill, where the two worlds touch. The door is round, the door is open. Don't go back to sleep. Don't go back to sleep. Don't go back to sleep. Don't you go, no, no, no. Don't go back to sleep. Don't go back to sleep.
Okay, this is called Magic Words. It's a poem by an Alaskan shaman.
In the very earliest time, when both people and animals lived on earth, a person could become an animal if he wanted to, and an animal could become a human being. Sometimes they were people, sometimes they were people, and sometimes animals, and sometimes animals, and there was no difference, there was no difference, all spoke the same language. That was the time when words were like magic. Ooh, the human mind had mysterious powers. A word spoken by chance might have strange consequences. It would suddenly come alive, and what people wanted to happen could happen. All you had to do was say it. Nobody can explain this, nobody can explain this. That's the way it was, that's the way it was, in the very earliest time, 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 in the very earliest time.
My guest tonight on Musician Spotlight has been Ritch Doyle. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for letting me come on to share this stuff with my fellow Montanans.
Yeah. You do one more?
I'd like to do one more about from the perspective of a wolf. I went to a meeting last week with all these wolf and bear biologists up near Glacier Park, and under the full moon a few nights ago, this song hit me. This is what I suspect a wolf might be thinking. This is called Ready or Not.
I am just a lone wolf, and I'm looking for my home. It's somewhere in these mountains and these valleys I now roam. Well, I know that I belong here. Yeah, I feel it in my bones. My ancestors once lived here. I'm finally returning home. I'm finally returning home. Ready or not, here we come. But I've better be careful. Some people shoot at me. That's how I lost my mother, and it could happen to me. But we don't want to eat your sheep, and we don't want to eat your cows. We'd rather eat wild meat. It's better for us anyhow. Oh, I am just a lone wolf, and I'm looking for a mate. We know that we belong here, so we'll just repopulate. Yeah, we'll just repopulate. It's probably fate, so we'll just repopulate. Oh, these mountains and these rivers seem familiar to me, but these highways and these fences don't make any sense to me. Well, I know that I belong here. Yeah, I feel it in my bones. My ancestors once lived here. I'm finally returning home. I'm finally returning home. Ready or not, here we come. The breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep. You must ask for what you really want. Don't go back to sleep. People are going back and forth across the door cell, where the two worlds touch. The door is round, the door is open. Don't go back to sleep. Don't go back to sleep. Don't go back to sleep. Don't you go, no, no, no. Don't go back to sleep. Don't go back to sleep.